Okay, mouth take incoming, but I think Nintendo Switch Sports is kinda unnecessary. Not unnecessary as in we don't need a Wii Sports style game on the Switch. That's been on my prediction list for a while now, and I'm surprised I actually got it right. I meant unnecessary as in they didn't need to put in all the effort in getting rid of Woohoo Island, creating this whole new universe of sports mates, and essentially remaking Wii Sports in a completely alien style. Sure, there's arguments for it, but Wii Sports Club is also literally just sitting there and arguably has more modes. With the Switch's install base, they could have just done a port job and I doubt many would have complained. Still, this video isn't a Switch Sports rant, the game's fine and perfectly playable. I just feel like Nintendo was deliberately giving themselves a tough time marketing this to people with old Wii Sports nostalgia when it could have been way easier. Though this didn't stop some other companies from helping. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? This is the 10-in-1 Game Accessories Pack for Switch Sports. There's 6 sports in the game. Do the math. Yes, due to popular demand, we're taking a look at a whole new generation of useless plastic controller contraptions on things of interest. I am not getting desperate. This 10-in-1 game accessory set is suitable for NS Sports somatosensory games. Easy to assemble, can increase the game experience. Well, it better. Now the box may say 10-in-1, but in reality it's more so just 5 different accessories, just with 2 of each included in the box. We'll just go through each of them and see whether they truly give me an edge over the competition. Well, nowhere better to start with than the tennis racket. This classic piece of plastic isn't quite elastic, but being gymnastic with it feels fantastic. I was being sarcastic. Though to be fair, as someone who's never shelled out to actually try any of these kinds of accessories, right as I started my first tennis match, I did very slightly understand the mindset of people who do enjoy using these. Swinging a Joy-Con that's attached to an accessory does feel a teeny bit different than just swinging the Joy-Con on its own, since you're swinging a physically tangible racket-shaped thing that has its own resistance and all that. In that sense, it does add a bit to the immersion itself, but as for actual gameplay advantage, there probably isn't any. Was a pretty close game though. This racket is also probably intended to be used in badminton as well. It's mostly a similar experience, but compared to tennis, badminton does feel like it requires a bit more precision in terms of input. So in this case, the plastic racket feels more like an inconvenience while you try to swing it in more varied directions. Other than that, it's basically just tennis, but you have to pay closer attention. Next up are the Chambora Swords. You can't fool me, this is literally the tennis racket with the top changed out. I paid $12 US for this. Playing Chambora with the shell on doesn't feel that much different than playing without it. The closest advantage I can think of is that you can use the physical sword as a reference to better see which direction you're holding it in, I guess? But that's really a stretch. But hey, unlike in Wii Sports Resort, this time you can finally dual wield swords.
Ready?
Note to self, dual-wielding plastic swords do not improve actual in-game performance. So it's probably a given that this box isn't going to include an entire plastic bowling ball to squeeze your Joy-Con into.
This peripheral is the first of its kind to be fashioned after an authentic bowling ball, turning your Wii remote into the optimum performance-enhancing...
But what's actually included as the bowling accessory here are, brass knuckles? You better switch up that attitude! So I'm guessing these are supposed to help provide a better grip on the Joy-Con when you do a bowling motion, but I have no idea what the intended way to hold them is supposed to be. If you hold them in a more natural grip style, similar to what you do while playing ARMS, then it doesn't really feel like you're throwing a bowling ball, and it somehow feels less responsive. 2 for the price of 1, Grandma. But if you try and hold it as you normally do, except with your other fingers on the grip, then your fingers are just kind of awkwardly stretched out, and I would rather just hold the Joy-Con without anything attached. Don't know the thought process that went into this one. None of these orientations feel like actual bowling at all. Next, we have 2 leg straps. It is literally just a third-party Switch leg strap with only a slight difference in material. Though it actually comes in 2 different lengths, I suppose to accommodate for children. But the longer strap already has an adjustable length anyway, so I guess it's exclusively for small children, or if you want to use it on your arm for some reason. I think it holds the Joy-Con more tightly than the official one, but other than that it works exactly as described playing the shootout mode in soccer. So I guess by default this wins just for being a perfectly usable alternative to the $9.99 USD official strap. I have 4 Joy-Con leg straps now, fear my legs. Okay, I sort of saved the most fascinating one for last. This accessory for volleyball looks so cryptic at first glance that they had to specify on the box that it's a hand strap and printed instructions on how to use it. For the people who haven't played Switch Sports, volleyball is one of the new sports where you and a partner take turns bumping, setting, and spiking the ball. And it's actually a nice little co-op experience. It's certainly more derivative than badminton, that's for sure. So this hand strap, I presume, fits through your hand and... So this hand strap, I presume, fits on your wrist and holds the Joy-Con for you while you do all the volleyball motions. Let me check the time. It's drift o'clock. So yeah, with there no longer being a need to hold anything, I simply hopped on a volleyball match and tried just doing all of the natural motions instead of just swinging the Joy-Con. And it actually kinda works. The motion detection could be slightly different because the Joy-Con's on your arm instead of your hand, but in practice it doesn't seem to affect things too much. And it was admittedly a little bit fun playing it this way. Maybe not objectively better than simply holding the Joy-Con, but certainly a more unique way of playing. I'm even doing jumps and everything. A hands-free Joy-Con hand strap isn't something that's been done officially by Nintendo yet. I don't necessarily see a ton of use cases for one, but it's cool to see another manufacturer attempt to see what it's like. Imagine if Nintendo came out with an official hand strap that can combine with the leg strap to give you what is essentially near full body tracking without the need for a cardboard backpack. That would actually be pretty sick. But as they stand, for their use cases in Switch Sports, these accessories are okay at best. They're not there to light the world on fire, they purely exist to make a buck off of casual families who will want them for the immersion or mistaking that they're required to actually play the game. Oh lord, I hope no one who's buying one of these out there actually thinks that. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope the 4,200 of you who voted to see this are happy with this conclusion. And if you're not then, fammy, come over here, I'm gonna give you a piece of this.